we're gonna walk you guys through a 30 by 40 engineered slab. We got a giveaway.
Hey, there's gonna be a lot of noise going on. Talked a lot about the pumps.
In our concrete price, we got a nice little approach up to the walk-in door. This is a very simple detail and it doesn't really cost much, but I highly recommend it. Right here we have a just Flatwork.
Is going to have a porch.
Welcome back, Pack. This is Advil from WolfSteel Buildings, and we got a special guest today.
Hi guys, Anadela from the marketing team. I am the marketing director here.
Welcome, Anadela. So
Thank
we
you.
woke up really early in the morning, I woke up at 5, but we were at the office already by 6:30 in the morning. So we had a pour date, so we're gonna walk you guys through a 30 by 40 engineered slab. Okay, so we're pouring the concrete right now. There's a lot of action going on. We're actually already a little bit almost done basically with pouring the slab, but we can still show you guys a little bit more of the foundation that's going on here for this engineered slab. So the pour time was at 8, and that's why we woke up really early. We got our coffee and we got some recording already, and now we're gonna walk you guys through that. So get ready for that, guys. Again, before we start with this tour, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And leave us some comments so we can answer them questions for you. Now, before we continue with the video, we got a giveaway, okay? So we got a giveaway of a free black hat. We got a hat with our logo. I don't have it on with me this morning.
We'll see it on the screen.
But you'll see it on the screen. And so the giveaway is, if you can guess how many garage doors we have on this building here, okay? So Anadela has a hint though.
There is a small hint. One of the hints is, if you remember correctly, there's gonna be some drone footage. We always do special notch work on all of our buildings for these garage doors. So make sure you pay attention to that drone footage. Comment down below what your guess is. If you get it correctly, I'll respond to you. And if you guess what type of garage doors, I'll throw in a little extra.
Nice. So a free hat. If you guess the type of garage door we're gonna be doing, you also get something extra. So I hope that you guys participate, and let's get back to it.
So guys, one of the things that is very important for you to let your neighbors or for you to be aware of is, like we said, we were here really early in the morning, and by the time we got here, maybe we were a little bit later than anticipated, right? But it was about 7:30, and we already had guys here and that already were working, kind of getting machines ready for what was gonna happen, right? So a lot of the times it's very important for you to let your neighbors know what is going on. Right? Hey, there's gonna be a lot of noise going on super early, especially as you're going to work. Sometimes, you don't know if your neighbors wake up late or if they're, running late to work, and then they gotta kind of avoid all the concrete trucks that are going on. This is about the 3rd concrete truck, and we're still looking like we're expecting one more. So there's going to be a lot of movement in and out and a lot of noise very early on. So if you see here, we've talked a lot about the pumps and what they're required for. They are typically needed whenever it is very hard for the concrete truck, which weighs about 30 to 33 tons, to get close to your site. So if it's too hard for where you have your building location, sometimes it is very hard for them to access, so a pump is required. Another reason why it could be required is, if you see here, this is just a driveway. There's typically no footers that go into driveways. So when that happens, they cannot drive up to the site. So usually you have to rent a pump, which a pump is at an additional fee.
Yeah, that typically can run you from like $900 to $2,000 just to rent it. So basically it's a machine that pumps all the concrete over to the site. And we're gonna show you guys how it's working. So like Anadela is saying, this is just a Flatwork slab driveway. These slabs, you can tell right away it's more like a 4-inch slab. Can't really hold the weight of that truck. So let's go walk over there. I hope that you learned a little bit more about the pumps. Now, this is the one that's laid on the ground. There are pumps that go up in the air, so it just depends the project that we determine which one is best for the needs. This is a little bit more on the cost-effective side type of pump, and it works. It works. So cleaning up. So you can see this is a 30 by 40 main slab, and then we got a porch section up front. And Adela's going to talk to you guys about the porch because she really loves it.
It's my favorite part, guys. Aesthetic wise, it is the ideal place, especially if you guys are looking the location that this house, this whole neighborhood is actually absolutely gorgeous, but the way that this house overlooks the pond that they have back here, he is actually going to be, has a porch being poured. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get over there.
So right here, what our client wanted is a driveway, like in addition to his existing driveway. So we're doing a connection. So as you can see, we actually already drilled these rebar to connect them together. So we got this nice driveway approach up to his building. So this is an engineered foundation. When you have an engineered foundation, why do you need it? I would recommend it for commercial projects, definitely. Residential, if you're gonna be building a home, an engineered foundation is extremely important. At least it's something that we highly recommend. So when you get an engineered foundation, the engineers come in, they drill into your ground, and they check what kind of ground you have. Especially here in the northern area of Texas, which is all Dallas-Fort Worth, we got a lot of clay, and it's one of the biggest foundation problems that you find even in the world is clay, because a lot of expansion, a lot of movement in that ground. If you're building a home in this area of Dallas-Fort Worth, highly recommend that you get an engineered foundation. Well, here we need an engineered foundation. This is just a shop, but it was only because of the permits. Okay, so we were in Double Oak. You needed a permit, and they're already past pre-inspection. So the inspector came in, inspected all the forms. It all looked great, and that's why we're already pouring. So we got this engineered foundation. This is for a weld-up building. So if you're going to be getting a red iron building, there's two types of buildings you can get. Actually, three. You can get just a regular weld-up building. Then you can get an engineered weld-up building. The engineered is where an engineer designs the building, stamps it, and backs up that engineered weld-up building. Then you can also get a bolt-up red iron building. A bolt-up is basically a pre-engineered building that has all the holes ready to just put it all together. So right now what we have is a weld-up engineered building, and the reason why some clients want to do an engineered weld-up is because the lead time to get something like that is a lot faster than a bolt-up. Bolt-ups can be about 2 times to 3 times longer to be able to start building. So something to keep in mind. Soon, I know they've been asking for it, we're going to do a whiteboard and do the comparisons of all the projects that we can do, because we also do tubular buildings. So we really specialize ourselves in our metal building projects. Let me show you guys a little bit of what's going on here. So when you get a foundation or an engineered or like a foundation concrete slab through us, in our concrete price, we have our weld-up plates, okay? So these plates are needed to be able to sit the post or the columns, and we're gonna be welding from here up. So this is gonna be 14 foot tall for this project. So we set those down. If you get your own concrete, you have to get your own plates, and you have to embed them where we specifically tell you to embed them, because they gotta be right in the right positioning, okay? So you can see here, we've already did some cuts there to be able to set the weld-up plates for the doors. We got a nice little approach up to the walk-in door. This is a very simple detail, and it doesn't really cost much, but I highly recommend it. So here we're gonna have a service door, but a lot of times, depends your grade. If you don't have like a nice approach up to it, then when you're walking, you got a bigger step. Especially for a little bit more of our older clients, or as you get age, you want it to be a nice, smooth process to access the building. So this small little detail of just having this nice little approach, I highly recommend.
I think that's also very important if you're moving things into your building. Sometimes as you're trying to move, anything that you're going to be putting in there, like any of your machinery or anything that you want to store, as you're getting it up, you're having to kind of pull it up a little bit more rather than having an approach. Sometimes even the dollies, it's easier if it's just versus a big jolt up.
Something to always keep in mind because the grade is never ever level. Oh, wow, got the hole. So there was a box here. Okay, so there was a box here, which was about a 5x5x3, and that is on the bottom of the footer. So if you're watching some of our drone footage, you should be able to see what was here before. And that, the engineer did it because we got the column here. This is gonna be an I-beam, 8-inch I-beam, 22 pounds I-beam that's gonna be running right here in the middle. And so, because they can have movement, you want to really support that slab or that beam and that column here. So that's what was done for this slab. This is not the type of engineered slab that we do often, but sometimes if that's what the engineer needs, that's what the engineer needs, and we follow the plans. So our client, one thing I do want to mention is our client did want a nice curve here, just kind of match the curves of his other driveway. We did this little nice curve here where we're going to be pouring the concrete up to it and make a nice curve. So those little details you can ask for, and we can definitely do them for you. Now, if you're going to be doing your own concrete slab for a weld-up building, something to also keep in mind is the placement of the plates is extremely important. So in just a normal weld-up building where there's no engineer plans on it, then we recommend that you get our weld-up floor plan, and we basically create a plans on CAD and be able to place exactly where the plates need to be. That way you can follow that and make sure that you can put the plates. And we also specify what kind of plates, where to get the size, the thickness, and the specs for that, and even the recommendations for how to do your slab. Another thing that's been going on a little bit that we've been getting a lot from clients is square footage price on slabs and foundations and flat work. A lot of times there's a confusion between a flat work and a foundation. So a foundation comes with additional things. And so right here we have a just flat work, which is just something just on top of grade, really. And then over here we got this is an engineered foundation. So this is a foundation. It comes with the footing. It's got number 4 rebar on the footing and not just number 3 rebar. We got the vapor barrier, which is this plastic that you see. And then we also have a lot of we got the number 3 rebar on top. And then we got the internal footings. So there's additional work that gets done in a foundation compared to just a flat slab, which is just called flat work. This is a foundation, that's flat work.
Another thing when you're looking at different prices and you're comparing different prices if you're pouring your own concrete is what are they doing to your actual foundation? Are you pouring a foundation? Are they pouring flat work? And if you're doing flat work, a lot of the times it won't withstand half of the weight that this foundation will. So any type of car lift, any type of machinery, even an RV, if you later buy an RV, boats, anything like that, the difference in the weight that this can withstand compared to your flat work is very, very different.
So let's come over here because we actually missed it out. In here, if you're seeing some of our drone footage, we had I believe it was a 12 by 12 footer just straight in here to half of this slab. And what that was for a car lift. So our client said, hey, I'm gonna be installing a car lift here. And so we said, okay, can you check with your car lift, what specs do they need? And they needed a footer, and they gave us the rebar, everything that needed to be done for that car lift. And so, because there's different types of car lift, there's some light ones that you can get away with just a 4-inch slab. As it gets heavier lifts, you need more and more reinforcement. Sometimes you need a 6-inch slab. But in this case, he needed also a footer, and that's where he's going to be anchoring down his stationary car lifts. So keep that in mind if you have a car lift. Check in with your car lift machine or like the specs of it and give us the details, and we'll build your slab for it.
So guys, my favorite part of the video that you will definitely be seeing, so stay tuned to make sure that you pay attention whenever we do upload the final building when it is fully completed, because he is going to have a porch. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a beautiful lake that they oversee, and he's gonna have, not only is it going to be a porch, he's gonna have cedar posts. Those cedar posts are very aesthetic, and they go with that Texas rustic, yet the colors that he's gonna have is gonna give it a modern touch. He's going to be able to wake up, look out, drink coffee, and just look out at this gorgeous lake in the mornings, and also wherever the sun comes up. It's just gonna be a perfect touch.
Perfect. And then right now you see that we've already embedded the first plates that are going into the concrete. So they gotta be sticking out just a little bit. That way we can start welding up from there. Well guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe to our channel, because this project is going to be coming up, and it's also going to be an engineered weld up. I would love to show you guys the materials that go into an engineered weld up project like this one, and really just kind of show you guys a little bit more in detail what it comes in. That way when we get into doing whiteboards and stuff, we have a lot more content to be able to show you guys, not just write it on a whiteboard, but also show you guys with more videos and more content what are the differences for all the visual individuals out there.
Also guys, make sure to stay tuned, because not only do we have some really cool projects, but we're going to be doing some giveaways as it gets a little colder, maybe some jackets, some hats, things like that we have coming up. But as always, go ahead and comment down below if you guys have any questions. We do pay attention to those questions and do try to get some videos, get some answers for you guys. So if you're in the market and maybe we don't cover your area, or if we do and you're working with WolfSteel, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. We will answer them for you. But as always, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.